starving, exhausted, and outnumbered 4-1. Behind you lies 1,000 miles of scorching desert littered with the corpses of your fallen comrades. Ahead, 40,000 Turkish warriors block your path, while a fortified city bristles with defenders at your back. You should retreat, you should surrender, but instead, you attack. And in just 6 hours, you achieve what military experts call impossible, one of the most devastating victories in medieval history. This is the story of the Battle of Iconium, where a 68-year-old emperor named Frederick Barbarossa did exactly that. May 1, 1190. Crusade was underway. Europe's most feared warrior was leading his army to search. At 68, he had nothing left to prove, yet here he was, marching 100,000 men through the heart of enemy territory in Anatolia, modern-day Turkey. His opponent was Sultan Kilij Arslan II, who controlled the Seljuk Sultanate with an iron fist. For 2 decades, no Western army had successfully crossed his territory. His cavalry archers were legendary. They could fire arrows while galloping at full speed, striking like lightning and disappearing like smoke. The Crusaders' journey had become a nightmare. Disease, starvation, and constant Turkish raids reduced Barbarossa's army from 100,000 to barely 15,000 men. Water sources were poisoned, food supplies burned, Turkish arrows came from nowhere, men collapsed in their armor from heat exhaustion, horses died by the hundreds. Barbarossa's commanders begged him to turn back, but the old emperor noticed something they didn't. The Turks were overconfident. They fought the same way their grandfathers had: harass, exhaust, then overwhelm. They hadn't adapted to the devastating power of Western heavy cavalry in concentrated formation, and that would be their fatal mistake. By mid-May, the Crusaders reached Iconium, the capital of Turkish power in Asia Minor. This wasn't just a city, it was the heart of the enemy empire. Triple walls that had never fallen, a garrison of 5,000 warriors, and blocking the only viable pass to the Holy Land. Sultan Kilij Arslan II made a critical error. Instead of concentrating his forces, he divided them. The city, part Crusaders, and his main 40,000 fresh warriors waited to deliver the killing blow once the Christians were fully exhausted. But Barbarossa had spent 3 weeks observing, planning, preparing. He'd identified the Sultan's weakness: predictability. Dawn, May 18th. Barbarossa counted his remaining forces, 10,000 combat-effective men. Just 2,000 knights still had war horses. Against them stood 5,000 defenders in the city and 40,000 approaching warriors. Then Barbarossa did something insane. He divided his forces. Military doctrine screamed against it. His commanders protested. But Barbarossa had learned something in 4 decades of war. Sometimes audacity succeeds where prudence fails. His son, Duke Frederick, would take 3,000 men and assault the city directly. Meanwhile, Barbarossa would face the Sultan's approaching army with just 7,000 men. Each force was now outnumbered 5-1. By every calculation, both should be annihilated. If you're enjoying this incredible story of military genius and impossible odds, hit that like button and let me know in the comments, could you have made Barbarossa's gamble? Now let's see how this insane plan actually worked. The battle began at sunrise. Turkish cavalry archers swept forward, blackening the sky with arrows. But the Crusaders weren't retreating, they were hunting. Duke Frederick reached Iconium's walls. The garrison commander made a fatal decision. Why cower behind walls when Turkish cavalry could ride down exhausted Christians? He opened the gates and sent 2,000 cavalry charging out. But the Crusaders weren't running. Frederick's 700 knights waited like coiled springs. When the Turkish cavalry hit disciplined infantry squares and crossbowmen, their charge faltered. Then Frederick's knights struck like a thunderbolt. 2 miles away, Barbarossa played his deadly game. The Sultan's 40,000 warriors arrived, drums thundering, war cries echoing. They saw exhausted Crusaders barely able to stand. Victory seemed certain. The Turkish attack began. Wave after wave of cavalry archers swept forward, releasing 30,000 arrows in the first 10 minutes. The Crusader line bent but didn't break. Shields locked, men fell, gaps filled. But casualties were mounting and the wings began to buckle. At exactly noon, Barbarossa sprang his trap. Trumpets sounded. The Crusader center opened like a gate. From within emerged 500 fresh knights on powerful war horses, the Imperial Guard. They'd been hidden, kept in reserve, given extra rations hoarded from human supplies. They formed the ancient Germanic wedge formation, a spear point of steel and horseflesh. The Turkish cavalry, pressed close for the kill, suddenly had no room to maneuver. They'd been lured exactly where Barbarossa wanted them. God wills it! The battle cry erupted as 2,000 Crusader knights joined the charge. The impact was catastrophic. 2,000 tons of steel and flesh thundering down at 30 miles per hour. Each knight in full plate armor hit with the force of a modern car crash. Multiply by 500. Turkish lances shattered, bodies flew, the line disintegrated in 7 seconds. What followed was pure momentum physics. The wedge punched through, shattering Turkish cohesion. Panic spread like wildfire. Elite troops who'd never fled threw down their weapons. When Barbarossa himself charged at the Sultan's green banner and it fell trampled under Crusader hooves, Turkish morale shattered completely. The Sultan abandoned his army and fled east. Meanwhile, Duke Frederick's forces burst from Iconium's eastern gates just as fleeing Turks from the field battle reached the city. Trapped between two Crusader forces, the Seljuk army faced annihilation. What followed wasn't a battle, it was an execution. Conservative estimates placed Turkish dead at 9,000. Some chroniclers claimed 40,000. The truth probably lies between. 15,000 to 20,000 warriors died in 6 hours. Crusader casualties? Fewer than 500 dead. 40 Turks died for every Crusader. Medieval battles rarely saw such lopsided results. The Sultan, watching his capital burn from the citadel, surrendered at dawn. He offered 100,000 gold pieces, 500 hostages, provisions and guides to the Syrian border. Barbarossa accepted. His strategic goals were achieved. But here's the tragic irony. 22 days after his greatest victory, on June 10, 1190, Frederick Barbarossa drowned crossing the Salif River in Armenia. Some say his horse slipped, others say his armor's weight pulled him under. The man who'd survived 40 years of warfare died in waist-deep water. Without Barbarossa's leadership, his army largely dissolved. The greatest military mind of the age was gone. Had he reached the Holy Land with his veterans, history might have changed forever. The Battle of Iconium proved impossible odds are only impossible until someone proves otherwise. Barbarossa faced starvation, numerical inferiority, and fortified enemies. By conventional calculation, he should have failed. Instead, through sheer refusal to accept defeat, he achieved one of history's most complete victories. In one afternoon, an aging emperor demonstrated that when leadership, technology, and will unite, even impossible odds become merely difficult. If this story of courage, cunning, and cold steel inspired you, subscribe to this channel for more incredible tales from history. Hit that notification bell so you never miss when we upload. And drop a comment. What historical battle should I cover next?